Hi guys, welcome back. It's Saturday and I'm so happy to see you today. I hope that you guys have had a great week with your family and that you guys are getting off to a great start to your school year. This week we are going to talk about some activities that you can play with your kids, some challenges that your kids can work through this week, and some questions that you guys can talk to your kids about this week's lesson. This week's lesson came to us from Exodus 12 verses 1 through 13, and we learned about how we trust God to rescue us. In this lesson, we learned about the Passover. God sent a plague that struck down every firstborn Egyptian son. But God rescued the Israelites from the destruction by passing over any house with blood of a lamb on the doorpost. God rescues us too, because He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross and rescue us from sin. Now we can go to heaven too. We did have a memory verse for this month that comes to us from Psalm 121, verse 2. And we have been helping your kids this week and the previous weeks to try to memorize this. And if your kids don't have it yet, that's okay. But I encourage you guys to help them memorize this. This memory verse comes from Psalm 121, verse 2. And it says, "My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth." It'd be great if you guys could help your kids out this week with that. Here are a few questions that you guys can ask your kids this week to help go along with the lesson that they've been learning. The first question that you guys can ask your kids this week to go along with our lesson is, the blood of the Lamb rescued the Israelites from the plague. Why does Jesus' death rescue us from sin? And the second question that you guys can ask your kids this week is, what are some sins you need Jesus to forgive you for and rescue you from? These will be great ways for you guys to get more in depth with your children on our lesson from this week. Your kids also have 2 challenges that they can choose from this week, or they could do both. The first challenge, ask your parents to help you find a news story about people who need to be rescued from a difficult situation, and pray that God will rescue them. And situation or challenge number 2 is, whenever you hear a siren or a police car this week, pray for the firemen and the police officers who are ready to rescue those in trouble, the way that God is always ready to rescue us. And thank God for rescuing you this week. The first activity that you guys can do this week is called Rescued from Worry. And the items that you'll need for this are balloons and a permanent marker. The first thing that you're going to do in this activity is to give a balloon to each family member and have them blow up the balloons without tying them. The second part of this activity is to hold the balloons for each other and write down your worries on each balloon with a permanent marker. And then you guys are going to release the balloons, letting them fly around the room. Pick up the balloons and see how your worries shrink. Talk about how your worries are small when we remember that God is so big. And then talk about how He rescues us from worry for all of our sins. Remember that there is a choking hazard with this one, as balloons can be hazardous to small children and animals. So make sure you pick up the little pieces of broken balloons off the floor as soon as you can with this one. Have fun. And our second activity for this week is called Bound Up. And all you'll need for this one is a roll of toilet paper. The step 1 in this activity is to wrap up 1 or more family member in toilet paper from ankles to shoulders with their hands at their sides. Talk about how sin binds us up and keeps us from being free. Ask family members for examples of when they were caught in a pattern of doing things that were wrong, like lying. And then you're going to tell the person to burst out of the bindings and then talk about how Jesus rescues us from sin. And last, you're going to save the toilet paper for use for handy cleanup around the house or the kitchen, or even to use it as packing paper. Remember to have fun, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Bye!